Hey everybody, I'm Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I just want to share this really quick. This is an update because today there was a court date. The lawyers had to be present at this court date to talk about some of the semantics that are going on with the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds lawsuit. And it's bombshell. It says, Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni muzzled by judge in heated harassment battle. So there were people like Law and Crime, some other channels were reporting live from the courthouse, although there was really no point in that because they were not allowed in with the cameras. So, but they were reporting basically essentially updates, and there was somebody that was inside who was doing sketches of the attorneys and their arguments and was also tweeting the live updates. So I was watching that all day because I really wanted to see what was going to happen if Blake Lively would be granted the gag order or not, which is, I'm telling you, this is, if Blake Lively was smart, she would have settled this. She would be doing everything she can to settle this. End of story. But let's go on to continue to read this really quick because this is the update. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's attorneys were in court today, Monday, to discuss what can and cannot be said to the public on behalf of their clients. A judge ordered the Stars legal team to follow the New York rules of professional conduct, which limit speaking to the press. Neither party will be allowed to make statements to the press that have a substantial likelihood of prejudicing a jury. However, because he is asking in his lawsuit, he is asking, demanding a jury trial, which is his right. So it says, however, the legal teams will be allowed to defend their client in the media against publicity that is not created by either side. So they're really not supposed to be creating anything intentionally in the media, but they can respond to defend their client if it is organically in the media, which, you know, the media, everybody's been covering this. This is Amber and Johnny 2.0. And this also, this is going to have very bad consequences, not just for Blake Lively's career, and she's only a C-rate actress, but her husband, who is almost an A-list actor. This is going to have severe consequences for him because he has made his entire reputation wrapped around being this funny, likable, lovable guy, when it turns out that that's just a facade. He's nothing like the Deadpool character that he has created at all. He's made you think that he is, but behind the scenes, no. So it goes on to say that in this article, synopsis, a summary, Lively and Baldoni's respective legal teams appeared in federal court Monday to discuss potential gag order and the actress's alleged refusal to allow the Jane the Virgin star's lawyer to lead her deposition. Attorneys for both sides claimed the actors had lost out on hundreds of millions of dollars in damages due to statements made in the press following Lively's initial harassment claims. And I don't blame him. He's asking for $400 million in damages. I mean, and he was dropped from a $250 million contract that he had with WME, from what I have read and from what I'm understanding. So it says a proposed protective order is due March 11th, and the trial date is actually set for March. As of right now, it's actually March 9th of 2026. The judge is likely going to combine a couple of these lawsuits because there's several different ones going on. Combine a couple of them into one lawsuit, which he has at his discretion can do that. But he also had warned them today in court that he can push the trial date up sooner, especially if there is an issue with this back and forth press stuff. That's why he issued that they can only defend their client in the press, but they cannot intentionally put anything in the press. Lively had specifically accused Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman. Brian Friedman has represented Perez Hilton. He has represented Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly. That's true. When I said that the other day, that is true. All three of them have confirmed that in their own content. Of attacking her character in statements shared with the media. The actress's attorney, Michael Gottlieb, said in court that Friedman has been sharing his views and opinions in the press when it should be handled in court. Friedman fired back in court, saying that they started it by allegedly working with the New York Times to publish an article attacking Baldoni. Friedman noted that when allegations hit the press, readers will make an opinion on who's right and who's wrong. Baldoni sued the New York Times for defamation over the article. Friedman said that although they started it, sounds like an argument a 4-year-old would make, Lively's team did say something first. And once someone says something first, it becomes a fact. Justin Baldoni's lawyer claims actor is looking for justice in Blake Lively legal battle. Of course. Of course. This is why the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement, why that very quickly with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, while that flipped everything on its head. Because while, yeah, you're supposed to believe all women, you have women that do lie and create false allegations, and they are so damaging to somebody. They have the right to pursue their civil and constitutional and basic human right. And the fact that allegations of this nature, if they didn't fundamentally happen the way that Blake says that they did, he has every right to sue. And this is why so many people are on Team Justin now after reading the lawsuits, all of them. All 5 of the filings that have come about, actually really looking at the text messages and the timeline and going through all of the pieces of it, we're really seeing a really odd pattern of behavior with Blake Lively. If you don't know, her husband Ryan Reynolds actually bought a soccer team over there in the UK, so he's in the UK a lot. But you notice something throughout the text messages, that Blake Lively is a completely different person when talking privately through texts and emails, what have you, to Justin Baldoni when her husband is gone or working or overseas. And then she gets a totally different vibe when he's home. And even Candace Owens brings this up, and this is something I was looking at because I've read the entirety of it, and I've read the entirety of the amended lawsuit. Blake Lively seemed to get sick, like was sick with like COVID or a flu, an awful lot. And it seems convenient that every time she's sick or one of her children are sick, it just happens to be when her husband Ryan Reynolds is home. Sounds like somebody who's making an excuse to try to stay home or call off for a personal day or a sick day when they're really not sick. But I mean, I'm not accusing anybody of lying, but it just looks that way. It just looks pretty suspicious is what I mean. But as far as Blake Lively, like her other allegations that she alleged in her complaint, because it was a complaint. She was looking to file a lawsuit, but because it has to do with a workplace, she has to file it, and then they would give her a writ, which then allows her to move to sue. But 4 of the main key factors that she listed as her reasonings for her complaint have already been proven as false. And not just proven as false, proven that they are grossly embellished or completely fabricated altogether. And that's not going to fare well for her, because if you are going to include that in a complaint or in your lawsuit against somebody, you better make sure that you're telling the truth. Blake Lively, I don't know if her and her husband Ryan Reynolds, do you two think that just because you're these celebrities and you come from wealth and you come from privilege, that you can utilize the American legal system to soothe a nepotistic tantrum and get your way? Is that really how you move through the world and how you operate? But I'm going to tell you something. Taylor Swift has come out with an article. Her publicist has put it out in the press as of 2 days ago that Taylor Swift is taking a step back from her friendship with Blake. Not that they're not friends, because yesterday was the Grammys, and guess who shows up at the Grammys dressed in a red dress? That's right, none other than Taylor Swift herself. And she said absolutely nothing about her over 10-year-long friendship with Blake Lively, how she's godmother to 3 out of their 4 children. Didn't say anything at all. And I don't suspect she will, because she loves nothing more than her own self and her own reputation. And it doesn't matter what people think or know. Right? You don't actually see or know how these celebrities actually operate when you are not watching. You don't see all the parts that they don't want you to see for a reason. You don't see how most of their day is spent doing PR strategies or sitting in a private jet, traveling, because they want to go back home, or they want to go to their other house in New Jersey, or they want to go just see their boyfriend, right? Dumping hundreds of thousands of tons of CO2 emissions into the atmosphere for one privileged little brat to have their way. Taylor Swift will drop Blake Lively. But what's funny, though, is Taylor Swift, if you don't remember, I'm going to show you. Taylor Swift had the same exact kind of thing. Okay, this was a legal case. An assault trial was a legal case in the United States in the District of Colorado. The trial involved David Mueller, a former DJ, filing for defamation against the singer-songwriter Taylor Swift. He alleged that she had him wrongfully terminated following an incident at a 2013 meet and greet. Swift then countersued Mueller for battery and assault, seeking a symbolic $1 in damages. The trial lasted 1 week, beginning on August 7th, 2017, with both Mueller and Swift appearing in court. It concluded on the evening of August 14th, 2017, with the jury ruling in Swift's favor and ordering Mueller to pay her $1. The trial was subject to significant media attention by virtue of Swift's status as a high-profile celebrity. News and media outlets reported on the details of the case and the public's reaction daily. The statement released by Swift following the trial, she revealed her reasoning for countersuing was to empower other victims of assault. In the statement, she also pledged to donate to organizations that help fund legal costs for other victims who choose to defend themselves. On June 2nd of 2013, while on her third concert tour, Swift attended a pre-show meet and greet organized by KYGO Radio before one of her concerts at the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. Numerous fans and station employees were present at the event, where guests were invited to meet with Swift before taking photos with her. At the event, Swift posed for a photo with David Mueller, a radio employee at the time, and his then girlfriend, Shannon Melcher. Melcher. How do you say that? Melcher. Also, as an employee, his girlfriend was also an employee of the station. Swift alleged that during the photograph, Mueller reached under her skirt and grabbed her rear immediately following the incident. Once Mueller and Melcher, how do you even say that? Melcher. That's Melcher. Me with the fucking up the names. Melcher had exited the room. Swift reported it to her mother, tour manager, the photographer, and members of her security team. Following the report, Swift's security team met with Mueller backstage and accused him of touching her inappropriately, which resulted in him being escorted from the concert. The incident was also reported to KYGO Radio, and Mueller was terminated shortly after. They conducted their own investigation into the event. If Taylor Swift's one of her closest friends of over 10 years is telling the truth that she really underwent harassment in a workplace, that she had these inappropriate things said and done to her while filming this movie, it begs the question, why didn't she go to HR more? Why didn't she go to the HR department? Why didn't she go to them a second time or a third time? Why didn't she back out from doing the film if that really was the case? But if she's really telling the truth, just for argument's sake, to play the devil's advocate, if Blake Lively is telling the truth, you would expect her friend to not only back her and support her, and to believe that she's telling the truth and back her and support her, but she should publicly do exactly that. But Taylor Swift will never put her reputation on the line for a friendship. And that tells you everything you need to know about who Taylor Swift really is, whether you like her or not. And I do not care how blonde hair, blue-eyed, tall, middle-aged white woman you are, and how you fit the mold of the all-American woman next door, and how much you, at almost 40, can relate to 15-year-old little girls. I don't care. That does not make anybody exactly what their image is. And rarely do you ever see that. Do you ever see a celebrity who has a reputation and they are exactly what their reputation is like? That's the thing about reputations. If you just are who you are and you are just yourself, you don't need a reputation. You don't need an image. You don't need a persona. You don't need that false image to try to live up to, because no celebrity can even live up to their own image. We see that all the time with Britney Spears. We even seen it with, look at Amber Heard, look at the whole Angelina Jolie, one of the most beautiful, most talented actresses in Hollywood, one of the most beautiful faces in Hollywood, in the world. And we think that her life is so perfect and that she's this cool mom and she's tattooed and she loves to do humanitarian work. Yet on the flip side, she's been having this years and years and years long battle with her ex, mudslinging in the press over divorce, over asset division. And, it's been going on for years and years. So we see that all the time with celebrities. They rarely are who they try to make us believe they are. Because if we knew the truth, the magic is lost. There is no reason to want to follow them or their music or their movies. Because once you learn that person's not really singing the way that they sound, or that they're not really acting in a capacity that is talent, and you really see what is behind the curtain. See, lawsuits like this, they peel back the curtain and we see everything for as it really is. And you can't deny that, and you can't be ignorant to that. So that's what I think is really interesting, is because everybody's known that there's a PR machine in Hollywood, but this is really showing how that PR machine works and how every celebrity is very, very carefully curating their own PR machine and their own image in the press. And while, yes, there are things that sometimes slip through in the press that the celebrity didn't plant or didn't seed or didn't put in the press, a lot of times they are reached. Their representatives are reached out to for comment. So, being a celebrity in Hollywood is one big narcissistic circle jerk. That's what it is. I'm just going to call it what it is. And the fact that these entitled people feel so inclined and entitled to either make false allegations or to actually ruin somebody's career in life because they feel that their own ego and their own career in life is threatened. I'm just going to say it, Blake Lively, I'm sorry. I mean, you are pretty. You're a pretty middle-aged woman with 4 kids. I mean, she's not like ugly in the sense I'd say, oh, she looks like the south end of a northbound dog. I would never say that about anybody. Blake Lively is pretty. I mean, she's not the most beautiful woman on the planet, but she's a beautiful person. Like, aesthetically, she's pretty. But I mean, I'm biased. I find beauty in so many different people, so that I'm not really the one to really say that anything, but it's really the inside. When you see somebody being an ass to others in interviews, you can tell that they're just ugly on the inside. They're ugly on the inside, and that just makes their outside not all that appealing and attractive, because it does something to turn you off and really repel you. Blake Lively is a pretty human being. But the thing is she's like not the most aesthetically beautiful woman on the planet. The problem is that she's got an ego that's befitting somebody who's a 10, and she's not a 10. She's a good solid 5 or 6. And realistically, there's lots of beautiful people who are 5s or 6s. It's that character. It's your personality. It's how you carry yourself, how you treat other people that really makes you beautiful, that really makes other people attracted to you. Blake Lively is not a good actress. That's why she's never risen above a C-rate acting career. And if you look at a lot of her roles, she plays the same blonde bitch. From Gossip Girl to a couple other roles she did, like The Age of Adeline. And I kind of liked the whole concept for that movie. But she still plays a self-absorbed bitch. And she does that in other roles too. You just sense it. You see it. Sometimes there's actors like... there's different types of actors. There's method actors. There's actors that are very serious. And then there's actors like Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was typecasted. She was very much typecasted to play the dumb blonde. The sexy, dumb blonde. Who doesn't even realize she's sexy, but dresses provocative. Bends over without even realizing that, she's showing stuff. And just that whole entire stereotype. And of course, at that time, in the golden age of Hollywood, she was really struggling to be taken seriously as an actress. That's why she wanted to start doing Broadway, why she wanted to go to New York, why she married her, third husband, because that's what he did. He was a screenwriter. So we see that with actresses like Blake Lively. She takes these roles and makes it sound like she's doing this diverse, really amazing character and immersing in it. But the thing is, it ends with us. She refused to read the book. So how interested are you in really getting to know what Colleen Hoover's adaptation of her own character that she created is, if you don't even read the book to get her sense of how she explains her character? So, first of all, you're not that interested in playing the character. And then she talks about how she brought her own shoes from her own closet. Well, it's not realistic that this florist who's struggling to open up her own floral shop is going to be wearing a $5,000 pair of red bottoms. And heels at that. How often do you see a florist in a floral shop wearing a pair of $5,000 red bottoms? Or walking around in work in them? Not. So that's how out of touch Blake Lively was with the entirety of the movie. And then she's going to talk about the character and the character she's playing and how she's both masculine and feminine. And how, no, she's explaining herself. She's not explaining the character, because she had very to little, none interest in the character whatsoever. She had interest in rewriting scenes and changing everything and dominating and asserting control over the film and all of that. But did she really want to know who Lily Blooms is as a character and what led her to falling in love with a man who's aggressive and starts getting physically domineering and then marries him, has a child with him, and then is able to get out of that relationship? No. She's not interested in actually making the character come to life. And that's okay. There's a lot of actors out there who are just very mediocre, mid type of actors. And those actors are needed. But the thing is that's not befitting is her ego is not matching her talent level. And that's where we see situations like this in real life. She has gotten ahead of herself. It's in my own personal opinion now, knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen, that Blake Lively was very much like she either truly believes that Justin Baldoni had the hots for her and that she just felt creeped out by that. Okay. I don't think that's it, because if that was the case, why would you allege false allegations? He really could have done some of the things that she's alleging, but 4 of those things have already been proven as not true at all. So that lends no credibility to the rest of it. If you've lied about 4 of them, then all of them must be untrue. Because you can't make allegations like that and say, nope, I lied about these 4, but the rest of it's all true. It doesn't work that way. When you're talking about an experience that happened to you, you have to be telling the truth. You have to be telling the truth, especially if you're going to take it to a complaint and then take it to lawsuit level. Like the American justice and legal system is some rich white girl's playground. That's not how this works. That is not how this works at all. And it's infuriating because Blake Lively has done exactly what Amber Heard did. Okay? Yeah, Amber Heard pooped on her husband's bed. As a F you, I'm going to one-up you and I'm going to get you back. I'm going to leave a big, hot, stinky pile of dew right on your side. Amber Heard, where is she? She had to leave America. Her acting career done. She had to go borrow some swimmers from Elon Musk because nobody else would give her any. And word on the street, too, is that Amber Heard had other frozen embryos, and she's got a second surrogate trying to have a second baby. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a girl, because she grew up with a sister, and I'm sure she wants her daughter, Una Page, to have a sister to grow up with. But where is she at? She's hiding in Spain, because her forever, her career, her reputation is done over with false allegations and lying. Instead of going to court or trying to settle it before it got to court and just apologizing, she not only doubled down, she tripled down on the lie. And what ended up happening was she got exposed in court. What they essentially did was they locked her down in deposition, and then they confronted her with, but you said this, but you lied. See? What they essentially did was they held up a mirror to Amber Heard and made her on live TV confront her own lies and inaccuracies. And does Blake Lively want to get to that point? Does she want to get to that point where she's on the stand being broadcast for the world that she lied to harm this man? Or there's no way you can accidentally not... If somebody is harassing you, there's no way you can mistake in that. Okay, it's not like, oh, he accidentally brushed me. Oh no, I think it might have been S harassment. Like, it either happened or it didn't. That's just how it goes. So it's, in my own opinion, it really is. And I'm going to say that it is, in my own opinion, for educational and entertainment purposes only. I think that Blake Lively never intended for this to snowball. But it was the same thing with Amber Heard. The whole thing with, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but the whole Amber Heard thing started because she was living in, Johnny Depp had 5 condos that equaled to be over $5 million that he had. And in the state of California, your property that you had before marriage is your property. Even after. You leave the marriage with your own property that you already had before the marriage. She's living in his $5 million penthouses at the Eastern Columbia building up at the top, where there's a pool, there's a gym, all of that. A restraining order. You have to have just cause to get a restraining order. She made up the physical aspect to be able to get a restraining order. The restraining order keeps him from his own property, his own $5 million property that he's owned for years before they ever even got together in a relationship, let alone married. And then what does she do? She asks immediately when filing for divorce for over $50,000 a month in spousal support, because that is the lavish lifestyle he provided her and gave her the luxury and privilege of having for the little over a year that they were married. And then she said it wasn't about money. The whole thing on her eye, that was made up to have just cause to get the restraining order. But she not only kept the 5 penthouses and kept him legally in the restraining order away from his own property while she's living in his property, she also got 2 of the vehicles that were in the garage of that property. 2 of his vehicles. So, instead of Amber Heard going to court and saying, or even trying to settle before then, and saying, look, I'm sorry. I did something wrong. I loved my husband. I love him still. But I'm not going to be the person that does this to somebody. This was a lie that was grossly exaggerated. So I would make sure that I would be okay in the event of a divorce, because she had given up her apartment on Orange Street when they got married. She didn't have a home or an apartment to go to. But that's what I'm saying. Anybody that knows Johnny Depp knows he would have given her anything she asked for. If she would have said, Johnny, I want a $5 million house, he would have made it happen for her. If she would have said, Johnny, I want a divorce, I'm done, I want out of this, but I need a condo or I need an apartment, he would have given that to her. If she would have said, Johnny, I've been living here in these condos with you. I would like to stay here for 2 years until I can get on my feet, get some better acting roles, and eventually buy my own home. He would have given her that. That's what's so obnoxious about Amber Heard. She didn't even know her own husband that well to know the kind heart that he had. I mean, he gave his sister and one of his closest friends from his childhood a place to live. No questions asked, for years. Helped them out. He's that type of person. He gave Amber Heard's friend his guest house for over 2 years. So all she had to do was just be honest and say, I want a divorce and I need some kind of stability. I need financial and home stability. And he would have done anything to make it happen for her and to make sure she would be all right. But she took the route of trying to wrongfully take his $5 million condos with a restraining order. But, of course, we all know how that played out. She didn't only double down, she tripled down on the lie. And it backfired. It backfired. Because when you're lying, it will come out. The truth will expose the lies. And that's just how that is. And with Blake Lively, I don't think she intended on this thing to become as big as it is. But she also has to realize Justin Baldoni has the right. He has the civil and the constitutional and the basic human right, as does every person in the United States, to defend themselves. They also have the right to their good name, their good standing, their privacy, their reputation, their life, their personal space, all of that. And he has the right to defend himself also. So nobody can be mad at him. Nobody can be mad or upset with him that he is pursuing the damages, because the damages are done. The very next day, he had an award rescinded and taken from him. He was dropped from William Morris Endeavor, WME, which is one of the largest talent agencies in Hollywood, representing A-list of A-list. The fact that he's losing millions and millions and millions of dollars out of his contract with his agency, all because of one article with the New York Times. That is terrifying. That is terrifying that the free press here in America have that kind of power to do that to somebody's reputation and life. He's got a wife and children. They're innocent. They don't deserve that. Does Blake's children deserve that? I would say no. So why does his? That's so hypocritical. And she's supposed to be this modern day feminist. Why do modern day feminists believe that women are up here and superior to everybody else? And it's all this bullshit with, you got to give me this equity and you got to go above and beyond breaking your back to make me feel like I'm up here, like I'm being given everything to be equal to a man over here. But it's okay for you to do all these things, but not him. That's hypocrisy. That's what that is. That's not even feminism. That's not even equality. That's not even equity. That is straight up hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. And I don't understand how Blake Lively does not look in the mirror and cannot fathom or understand that. I really don't. I mean, that's why they call her the plantation princess. Because she literally got married on a southern slave plantation to her husband, Ryan Reynolds. And remember, when they met, it was on the set of Green Lantern, where he was married to Scarlett Johansson. This could have a really bad repercussions for Blake Lively. This could be the end of her marriage, too. But how good of a guy is Ryan Reynolds if he cheats on his Scarlett Johansson? If I was married to Scarlett Johansson, you think I would ever look at another girl sideways? Ever? She's like one of the most beautiful actresses. Oh my God. I mean, I don't condone that. But that's how they met and fell in love on set. What is the chances that she caught feelings for Justin Baldoni, but he didn't reciprocate it? In fact, all he did was gush all the time about his wife and his kids and being a better man and being conscious of the woman in his life and wanting to take care of her and all of that. I think Blake was jealous, innately jealous, that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, does not talk about her like that. Or their kids like that. I really think that there was something there with Justin Baldoni that really threatened Blake Lively's truly insecure inner self. And there may be where she really did catch feelings for him and he did not reciprocate. And she actually misread. As, a woman that's 40 or almost 40, however old she is, she's almost 40 years old. Maybe she thought, oh, I still got it. I just gave birth to my fourth child and look, I still got it. I'm still sexy. I'm still good looking. I still got the it thing to get a man. But the problem was he didn't reciprocate it. That feeling of insecurity and that lack of confidence inside. I mean, it's almost heartbreaking too, but it does not excuse the behavior of treating other people like that and making false allegations against them to then deflect away from your bad behavior, Blake. Your bad behavior from the day filming even began and prior to, trying to usurp somebody else's film. And the fact is, they legally bought the rights to the book. Colleen Hoover sold them. And so he was within his legal right and purview to do and make the movie. You know, one thing could have changed this entire thing. He should have just, when he had 2 weeks left to recast her, he should have just recasted her. And I bet you the movie would have been so much better for it, because somebody else would have been able to actually play Lily Blooms in a more meaningful way and actually care about the character, about Colleen Hoover's character, and want to play the character, and not just some rich, spoiled, red bottom shoe wearing version of herself. Bragging about wardrobe, how she went $160,000 over budget for the wardrobe, and that it pulled away the precious allotment for wardrobe for other cast members. And it shows in the interviews, because Atlas goes, yeah, you know, she goes, you look exactly like the character Atlas that you play. And he's like, yeah, it's because, you know, her. And come to find out now, yeah, it really was because of Blake Lively. She really did go over budget. How did she go over budget for a wardrobe when she literally said she had Gigi Hadid's sweater in one scene? She brought her own jeans twice from home, and then she brought her own red bottom heels for the dance scene, and then she wore her husband's socks and several of her husband's t-shirts also. So if you're actually basing the character on Blake Lively, so Blake Lively was basing the character on herself, on Blake Lively, what are the chances that she really caught feelings for Justin Baldoni? All those intimate scenes, the whole dynamic of playing his love interest and then playing his wife, that she really caught feelings. Meanwhile, this man is just an adorable, you know, he's cute like a little chipmunk over here doing nothing but gushing about his wife and kids all day long. Every chance and opportunity that he had. Of course, that would be one of the things that would attract her. Am I hot enough to get that, even though he loves his wife? Am I sexy enough? Am I really the it girl, A-lister in my own head that I think I am? That I could pull that. She pulled Ryan Reynolds. She had 4 kids with him. She took him away from Scarlett Johansson. I think this is all going to blow up in her face. I don't know. You tell me what you think. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think that it was embellished and made up, because she did not anticipate all of this harming him. And she did not anticipate everybody knowing, of course, she worked with the New York Times. There's no doubt about that. That's how that works. How do you think TMZ knows to be where a celebrity is going to be at to take pictures of them? You think TMZ has 60,000 photographers that are just always staked out everywhere just on the happenstance that a celebrity is going to be going in or out, or they might see one? They are called by the celebrity and or their assistant or manager to be at a certain place and location at a certain day and time. That's how it works. That's how it works. This is not a one-way street, Friedman explained as he called out Lively's team for statements made to the press. He pointed to statements in which Baldoni was accused of being an abuser and using defense tactics that turn the tables on the victim, Darvo. Despite the heated back and forth, Friedman seemed pleased with the outcome of Monday's court hearing. Our clients are devastated and wanted to move the case along as quickly as possible, Friedman told reporters outside of the courthouse. We just couldn't be more pleased with how the case was handled today, how it was managed. We're going to move quickly as we possibly can and prove our innocence in a world where sometimes people judge you before they give you a chance. And here we have a civil and constitutional law that we are presumed innocent until proven guilty. The court of public opinion doesn't care, though. When people think they know based on what they see or read, You know, you have to have an open mind because everybody has that same right to due process. And the court of public opinion taints that and infringes on that, especially when you were absolutely so sure. Even though we know what this is really looking like. You know, there is a chance that Blake Lively may have some truth to her claims. We don't know 100% for sure. But them using the press could taint a jury. And the court of public opinion could be the most damaging because that will prevent, I mean, this will be the first time anybody will be able to recover from this. Even Johnny Depp had a hard time recovering from his win. And he never got paid by Amber Heard. And she was still fighting with her insurance policy for $1 million. And then she did decide a year later to try to ask Johnny's lawyers if they would settle. And Johnny Depp agreed to settle with her for only $1 million. And then she was trying to get New York Life and Marine to pay the $1 million. But her insurance policy for $1 million was voided because she was found guilty and to have acted with malicious intent. The policy doesn't cover that. The policy also doesn't cover you picking your own attorney. They're supposed to pick the attorney, and she refused that when she hired Elaine. So, and Rottenborn, who was the other attorney. So, last I read, that was still an ongoing thing with Amber Heard and her insurance policy. But she asked to settle for $1 million, and he said, yeah. And Johnny Depp, that tells you right there, it was not about money for him. At all. He just wanted her to clear his name and tell the truth. But he got the next best thing. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. If any of you see any of my content ever, I'm going to tell you right now, she needs to settle this as soon as possible. And if she even so much as made anything up, she better be honest and come forward because it will be found out. It will be found out if you are lying. It will. And that will ruin both you and your husband's career and future. And for your children as well. That'll be it as far as your acting careers. What brings two people to this point, I don't know. Lively's team said they're pleased with the result of today's hearing, and really because they wanted a complete gag order, and they didn't get that. And eager to move forward immediately with discovery in this case. That's funny because isn't that what his whole lawsuit that's amended is asking for a complete discovery? He wants all the emails and text. And see, that's the thing with discovery. When you sue somebody and you open yourself up to a complete discovery, meaning all the text, the emails, the information, all of that. Discovery works both ways. So if you're an investigative journalist and you have sources, you know, you're supposed to have integrity and you're supposed to protect your sources, but that opens you up to having to disclose. And good journalists don't do that. But in civil litigations like this, when discovery could be done on one side, don't forget it's done on the other side as well. That right goes both ways. Because I've heard content creators literally say, oh yeah, well, if it's not true, then why am I not being sued? Because I would absolutely love to be sued. Because I would be able to get my hands on everything. Meaning all your private communications, even the stuff you've deleted. They're gonna subpoena Facebook. They're gonna subpoena Instagram. They're gonna subpoena TikTok and get those deleted messages off the server. They're going to get copies of everything. But that also works for them to you. They can find out where you're getting your sources from. They can ask for discovery from you, from your device, you know, so it works both ways. But from my understanding, I read the amended lawsuit and he is actually the one that's asking for a immediate and complete discovery in the case. So it's funny that her team is trying to put it out in the press like it's her doing that. As if he's hiding something. It's all going to come out. I'm telling you. The court granted our request that all attorneys in the matter actually follow the rule of law and not make any statements that could prejudice a jury in the press. Lively's lawyers, Michael and Ezra Hudson, said in a statement provided to Fox News Digital. The case deals with serious allegations of harassment and retaliation. We will hold the defendants accountable, and we are confident that once all the evidence is submitted in this matter, Miss Lively will prevail. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? I think this is going to go down in history as setting a precedent, just like the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. Because if somebody's going to lie about their husband physically doing things to them, and this person's going to either be telling the truth or completely be fabricating this workplace stuff happening to her. You know, Amber Heard can't allege all of this stuff when she's actually the one who's aggressive too. You know, Blake Lively, it takes away. It's not about the perfect victim. It's about telling the truth. It doesn't matter if you're a non-perfect victim, but you can't be literally acting like that in the workplace and then saying that you are suffering in the workplace when you're the one who's rewriting scripts. You're doing things that are illegal. You're going behind the executives at Sony without their explicit permission for production and changing scenes, going over budget for wardrobe. You're making it inconvenient for all the cast members and staff by refusing to do wardrobe fittings because you don't want to go 10 minutes away from your own house. You want them to pack everything up and bring it to you. And then you refuse to share your size or do fittings. Then you refuse to disclose your weight or your measurements. It's like, then why are you even signing on to do the movie? Why? Because we know from her interaction with the entire interview thing, when they said, hey, you know, somebody that is a survivor or is currently in a DV relationship, what happens if they come up to you and they want to talk to you about this, or they want to share their experience with you? Oh, well, I should just give them my address or my phone number, or you know what? Yeah, location share. We should just location share. Like, it's funny that, oh, I'm this mega celebrity. I'm not going to give them my private information for people to talk to me. He literally was meaning as survivors, people that have gone through this type of DV relationship. And that was her response. That's more tone deaf than grab your florals and your best friend and the popcorn and go see It Ends With Us. What would have happened if somebody would have took their, you know, daughter to that, thinking it was just some, you know, coming of age, finding yourself chick flick thing? Instead, it's rife with all these emulated sex scenes and simulated DV. So it says, however, Baldoni insisted that Lively falsely accused him in an attempt to repair her reputation amid the fallout around the movie's press tour. And I think it's true because I watched that happen. I remember all the interviews being, she's tone deaf, she's tone deaf. She did the same thing with Kate Middleton. Where's Kate Middleton? Making fun of Kate Middleton's picture with her 3 kids. Meanwhile, she had no idea, neither did the rest of the world, that Kate Middleton is undergoing a female cancer and did not want to make it public. And they, all the scrutiny around the world forced her to have to make a statement that she was undergoing surgery and probably chemo and radiation as well. I know what that's like because I went through stage 3 cervical cancer. You know, and yeah, she issued a lame apology, but it wasn't even really an apology. It was like a half-ass, oh, well, they were all making fun of it. Then I did too. So I should be allowed. No, just because Ryan Reynolds makes things funny doesn't mean it's okay, right? I would love to see Deadpool number 4, where he's making fun of his wife for being a woke feminist who alleges all these, you know, false allegations and ruins a man's life over it. Wait till somebody does that to Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. After the actress took control of the film and his own lawsuit filed in January, which was amended, Baldoni's legal team claimed Lively had no evidence of a deliberate smear campaign and instead worked to repair her reputation by accusing the actor and others. You know what's so funny about that? This is how I see this. Blake Lively, we need to talk. Do you know how you repair your reputation? You prove you're the better person. You prove you're a good person. You're a moral, honest, deserving person, right? Not just one that got lucky and married an A-lister where you can go have a rhinoplasty and go have all brand new composite veneers done, okay? And I'll just look at me. I'm just this beautiful gift to men. You know, like your PUSSY is lined in gold and everybody is just so lucky to be in the presence of it. You know, instead of proving that you're a good person, that you're a moral and an honest person, you point the finger and say, no, look over there. But that person over there is a bad person. That person over there is a bad person. But that person over there is lying. That person over there is a hypocrite. That person over there is lying. But that person over there is doing drugs, and that person over there is doing this, and that person over there is doing that. Pointing the finger, negating, shift blaming is not going to prove that you're telling the truth. It's not going to repair your reputation. What you should have did was sat down in an interview and apologized for the tone-deaf remarks, and it would have been the end of it right there. All you had to do was be honest and transparent. Shut up and listen. And actually absorb what you're listening to. And utilize that. But instead, nope, it was all about you, blah, 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 on these interviews, just being rude to everybody. That's your biggest mistake. It's going to be the downfall of her, I'm telling you. And that's the end of that. So, what do you guys think is going to happen? I think that this is going to end up a high likelihood that Justin Baldoni, you should take this straight to trial. Do not settle, because you deserve justice if this is not true. Let's see what some of the comments says. She overestimated her self-worth and will end up on the losing end of this lawsuit, taking down her husband as well. Booyah! What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? I told you so. Told you so. That's what I think. 3 days in a row about this? Come on, Fox. There are many more stories that really matter right now. Yeah, but this is going to be setting a precedence. I'm telling you, this is also peeling the curtain back on the magic of Hollywood. You're seeing how it really operates and how these people really become celebrities. It's a lot of work to keep up your celebrity reputation, especially after you've gotten it. You realize this is in the entertainment section, right? People are dying and plane crashes typically aren't entertainment. Da-da-da-da. Oh, they're right. It is in the entertainment section. It should be under civil lawsuits, really. Or celebrity drama. No one is forcing you to click on it. Some of us have boring lives and love the drama. It's Depp versus Heard 2.0. Said the same thing. Sounds like a spat between spouses being resolved by a marriage counselor. There will be two very different interpretations of events that both are skewed from reality. The whole thing makes a case for how much actors are impossibly ruined in their real personhood by the roles that they play. Justin has evidence, Blake Lively has none, and using Ryan Reynolds' power to prove she's the victim. Bullseye times 5. Blake Lively will be the next Amber Heard. It won't go well for her. She's not even that talented. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm not trying to be rude. But the reason why Blake Lively has not gotten to Angelina Jolie status is because she is not a 10. She is not Angelina Jolie. She is not able to perform her acting roles the way that Angelina Jolie is versatile. She immerses herself in a character and loses her real self. That's how she's so good at doing roles, because she's able to really turn that on and off between her real life, her real self, and her roles. Blake Lively is mid as fuck. I'm telling you, she is mediocre. She's a mediocre actress. That's why she's considered C-rate, not A-list. Blake Lively, unfortunately, also doesn't have on camera. She doesn't have this aesthetic like Angelina Jolie comes across on camera. That woman couldn't take a bad picture to save her life. She just always comes across as beautiful. She's the type of person that was meant to be on camera. It's just how it is. And some people want to be an A-lister, or they aspire to be an A-lister, and that's their dream. But it's a dream you need to let go of, Blake. You're almost 40 years old. You got 4 kids. You're a married woman, and you're acting. Your acting talent is not befitting of. Otherwise, in the last 20 years of your acting career, you would have made it to A-list status. And it's because she's not that talented. And clearly, if she was, her talent, her acting Lily Blooms would have been enough. Instead of her constantly having to worry about rewrite in this scene and redoing this scene and having to rewrite this and having to change that and having to pull this whole entire section out because she doesn't want to be lifted, and having to really focus on the wardrobe, the clothes, the shoes, the this, that, when really she looks like a 40-plus-year-old woman who's had 4 kids, who's trying to dress like her 17-year-old daughter. That's how she comes across when she plays Lily Blooms. Go watch the movie and tell me I'm wrong. It also comes across to me like, bitch, do you not know how to brush your hair for real? That wig that she is wearing in It Ends With Us, that weird gingery, natted cow fart of a mess. Who in the heck is the cameraman that's recording that without saying, dude, Blake, get a comb? Nobody walks around with their hair looking like that, for real. Now think about this. These are the same people that demo rats parade around on stage and political fundraisers to convince John Q. public we should be voting for them. Yeah, I don't think so. Blake is not winning this one. Wow, they both got more rights than Trump did. I remember when Blake came out and said she wanted everyone to vote for Democrat when she was 18. This is a slow news day. No, they went to court today. That's why. The attorneys actually had to appear in court. And there's going to be several of those until the trial date, unless she's smart and is able to somehow manage a settlement. But it's too late for that. Workplace harassment suit filed by the actress. Unwanted intimacy called for in the script. Tongue wasn't in the script, she will say. Who? Oh, and who cares? Why don't they just get married? Anybody who fights this much isn't married. It's just plain wrong. I think that's the whole problem, is Blake Lively wanted Justin Baldoni to want her. She wanted him to think she's sexy and hot. She wanted him to be attracted to her. And the fact that on-screen portrayal wasn't really matching off-screen, and she was rejected, I think that hurt her ego. Sorry, Blake. I mean, really, to other people, you're about a 5 or a 6, and you're a very mediocre actress. You're almost 40. You've given birth to 4 kids. You've been married, and, you met that husband while he was married to Scarlett Johansson and took him from falling in love on a movie set. So, hey, what goes around comes around. Isn't that what Justin Timberlake said? Yeah. She has the money. Get rid of the face mole. No, her husband probably has the money, but she doesn't. How many movies has Blake Lively made in the last several years? Oh, and also, remember Taylor Swift has been hanging out with Ronan Farrow. Ronan Farrow is one of the journalists who did the Harvey Weinstein, with the New York Times, the Harvey Weinstein article, and helped work on that for a very long time before publishing to make sure that they could corroborate and verify that Harvey Weinstein was this. And they were like, he's accredited for having really started the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement. Well, if you've ever watched or been around alive to know any of this. Mia Farrow was with Woody Allen. She has kids. One of those children were, what's the word I can use? Touched by him, Woody Allen. Ronan Farrow's sister was abused by Woody Allen when she was little. Ronan Farrow has been hanging out with Taylor Swift. And her publicist has been trying to bury that on the internet so you cannot find all of those videos and pictures of her hanging out with him, getting into a car together in New York City, all of this stuff. But what's funny is that she's been friends with Blake Lively for over 10 years, and Blake Lively, a few years back, did a Woody Allen movie. Even well after all of this, allegations of him harming a young child, his young child, came out. On top of the fact that he's married to their adopted child. Oh, God. She is a Woody Allen apologist. And if you don't know what Woody Allen did, go watch it. Ronan Farrow actually is in the documentary. Yep. So tell me, why would Ronan Farrow be hanging out with Blake Lively if she was in one of his movies recently? Or Taylor Swift, who is very close with Blake Lively. I'll tell you one thing right now, I would not be hanging out with no mother effer if my sister was touched by somebody. And my family suffered immensely for years because of that somebody. And that somebody is now married to one of my adopted sisters. And was doing the same thing to that sister. I would not be hanging out with anybody that's working or had worked for recently that man. So that's really weird that Ronan Farrow is hanging out with Taylor Swift and Taylor Swift hangs out with Blake Lively and they're all just like, whatever. Blake Lively may have a connection with the New York Times through Ronan. She might have sold it to him through Taylor Swift and her friendship with Ronan Farrow, like, oh, you know, the Harvey Weinstein thing, the Jeffrey Epstein thing, this is going to be even bigger, but it's just in Baldoni. But come to find out, women lie. Men lie. Kids lie. So the truth will come out. This is not going to be a battle of perspectives because there is no perspective. You either did this thing unwarranted or you didn't. And it was all part of the film, the movie. The days of just believe me are well over. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. All I know is that somehow this lawsuit is going to be written into the plot line of the next Deadpool movie, and I'm laughing already. I don't think it will. I think this is really going to damage him irreversibly. Who are these people with their first world problems, and why do we even care? Hollywood is dead. Hollyweird is dead. This is why Hollywood has been slowly dying the last 15 years. Why do you think celebrities are resorting to doing dumb shit like making content on YouTube and podcasting and all this and selling more pictures of themselves to TMZ, yada, yada, yada? Because they know. They know Hollywood, the golden age of Hollywood is long gone. The remnants of that are long gone. Things like this expose what really happened. If you're not the type of person that cannot work well with others, you shouldn't be on a movie set with 500 other people. You should probably go get an office job or something, Blake. I don't know. But that's just not the type of creative person you are. If you're a creative person, learn how to paint or something. But being an actress, that's not your thing. And she knows she's not a good actress. That's why she has to be fucking with scripts, fucking with rewrites, fucking with wardrobe, fucking with hair, fucking with makeup, fucking with body makeup, fucking with shoes, and all of this stuff. Because she thinks all of that will deflect away from the fact that she just can't act. And she can't. Go watch the movie. It's crap. And go watch any one of her other movies and come back and give me a review because I want to know what you think. But with that said, that's the update. Have to wait and see if there's any other court dates that are set and what they're going to be arguing and yada, yada, yada. All of that. But I just wanted to talk about that update and rant a little bit about the situation and what I think. So anyway, I love you all. Have a really great night, and I will see you all on the flip side. If you want, send me all the love you can. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Stick around. Give me a chance. You might like what I have to say.